As I was beginning to get over the immense sadness that had been consuming my entire being, I found myself struggling to make sense of it all. I was a man, and men are not supposed to cry or show weakness. At least, that was what I had always been taught. So while I was out in public, I would hold it all in. In the privacy of my car or home, however, I would finally allow those emotions to surface where I could freely express everything I was feeling. I did not know what was worse, the idea of losing my loved ones in the near future, or coming to terms with my own mortality. Such a prospect affected me in more ways than one. I could feel perfectly fine, and then, out of nowhere, tears would begin to flow for days at a time if I let them. At times, I felt like someone who appeared normal, content, and happy one moment, only to become a complete mess within minutes. The shower is the place to let out all those feelings. My mother had taught me from a young age. However, because I lived alone, worked occasionally remotely, and did not have to interact with people every day, I had the freedom to let those emotions flow whenever I needed to. Eventually, the sadness would subside, allowing me to continue working and doing what needed to be done. If my younger self could see me now, a man in his early 40s crying over something that once would have seemed so trivial, I can only imagine his bewilderment, disappointment, or even shock at what he had become. What at times appeared to be a completely unstable person was, in reality, someone who had his life somewhat figured out. All this made me reflect on all the choices I made throughout my life. For many years, I had been playing both sides of the field. I spent much of my youth and early adulthood focused on women, then shifted exclusively towards men for a few years, and then found myself somewhere in between. Each sex presented its own advantages and disadvantages. But more importantly, when it was the right person, none of that mattered. You simply connected. It felt right. And somehow you knew, and then you ended up spending your days, nights, weekends, months, and years with this very person. As I watched my friends get their lives together, marrying, having children, adopting dogs, and finding stability, I began to feel that same longing. However, I'm more of a cat person. Yet my circumstances had shown me that taking that path earlier in life would have not benefited me in any way, shape, or form. Over time, I achieved a degree of career stability and improved my finances, but I did not have the complete package. More importantly, I had not been emotionally or physically available to embark on such a journey for many years. I found myself collecting memories rather than building a life with someone over the long haul. I experienced a small panic attack in my early 30s because, according to society, that was when you were supposed to have everything figured out and find the right person. Yet I was only beginning to understand myself, what I liked, what I disliked, what I was willing and unwilling to do. I would be lying if I said that finding the right person at the time would have been bad for the best. It would not have been. I would have been living a lie, uncertain whether that life was truly what I wanted. Plus, if I did take the next step with someone, I'm only willing to do it once. One thing I wanted to ensure was that I had my life figured out before my loved ones passed on to whatever came next. At the very least, I wanted to give them the comfort of knowing they no longer had to worry about me once they left this earth, that I was ready to continue on my own. As I felt that familiar uneasiness coursing through me once again, I made an effort to keep myself busy, because busy helped me avoid dwelling on those thoughts. It gave me a purpose that extended beyond overthinking and overanalyzing every possibility. It allowed me to move through my day without surrendering to my emotions. Eventually, those feelings would wither away and life would return to normal. I decided to take a nap during lunch to gather my thoughts and disconnect from everything for a while. As I closed my eyes, I envisioned myself in an oasis, a place of dreams where everything looked lush, vibrant, alive, and most importantly, tranquil. This escape was exactly what I needed. An opportunity to change my surroundings and simply exist. Just as I was beginning to drift into a deep sleep, I saw something in my dream that I was not expecting.